Welcome to Mental Health Monday. Still hate that. Today I'm going to be talking about my two personality disorders. Nobody asked for them to be done separately, so they're just going to be crammed in together, which I suppose is easiest because they're quite brief and succinct what they're all about, and it's kind of obvious how they've affected me. I've got many cats in the background today, and a lot of them are going to be aggressive, so we'll just deal with that as it happens. Right, first off, avoidant personality disorder. Avoidant personality disorder is characterised by feelings of severe inadequacy and sensitivity to criticism, because you feel like others are naturally going to criticise you because you are inadequate. So you avoid social situations and people. So work, school, anything that's normal and life-based, you avoid it just in case someone criticises you or ridicules you because you feel like they must, because you are inadequate as a person. It's just a fear of basically exposing that inadequacy inside of you to other people. At least that's what it's been for me. This means that when you do have social situations, you're constantly looking for cues as to what they think of you and constantly worrying that it's the wrong things. You feel like any task that you do, you don't do it competently enough, that you're not capable, that you're not like other people. You don't feel, you look at everyone else and you see them all being capable and you think, well, I'm none of that, I can't do any of that, so you avoid it all. Yeah, and that's how it's been for me. It's made me avoid all manner of social situations, all manner of work situations. Everyone gets scared of doing something for the first time, but for a person with avoidant personality disorder, the terror associated with it is enough to actually make you not do it most of the time. Even if it's something you really want to do, you won't do it. Anyway, so that's that. Schizoid personality disorder is a long-standing pattern of detachment from social relationships, connected, I think, in sort of marginalisation. I think people who have been marginalised might end up falling into being schizoid in their personality. Once you have been disconnected from society for any particular length of time, it is very difficult to reconnect, and you feel inhibited in your reconnection. It's also characterised by suppressed emotion, the inability to express emotion. In other words, sometimes I will look like a fucking robot. I will not give the correct emotional response. I call it blanking out because that's basically what happens. You know there should be a response to something, but you don't know what it is. You blank it, you know? It's like, oh, I should be doing something in this situation, but I don't know. That sort of adds to the whole feeling of dissociation from society and disconnection with it. People with schizoid personality may appear to have a lack of desire for intimacy or relationship with others. So there might be an appearance of not wanting to be around people, an appearance of aloofness and reserve from people, but often it's just an appearance of it. Often this person is wanting someone to approach them. I know for me that's true. I very much prefer people to approach me because I'm never sure. This connects into the avoidant personality disorder. I'm never sure whether anyone actually wants to hear from me in email or DM or anything like that. I'm like, oh no, I won't, just in case. And I don't like it. I hate it. I hate those feelings. I hate thinking that no one's going to want to actually deal with me, but I can't help them. So sufferers of schizoid personality disorder will often seem like the classic loner. They enjoy their own company. I've always enjoyed my own company, even as a child, so I don't know that that's part of the schizoid, because I'm pretty sure the schizoid personality disorder only cropped up in my late teens, just same as the avoidant personality disorder. I think that cropped up in my mid-teens. As I was going through what I went through at school and stuff, I think I started to feel less and less capable around people and less capable within myself, because no one was ever saying you can do this, which is not a failing on other people's part. It's just some people do fall through the cracks. Some people don't get affirmation, and that's why I always try and think, well, have I been kind to people? Because I wasn't the recipient of much kindness at a very difficult time in my life, and you never know whether the person that you haven't taken 5 seconds to be kind to is going through something or not. So I try and be kind. I always try and be kind, because I know that that person could be who I was when no one was being compassionate and I really fucking needed it. So that's just a completely pointless aside. I don't think it's pointless, but it's an aside anyway. Now, individuals with schizoid personality disorder, they'll have few friendships, they will date infrequently, they will have a very spotty employment record, yes, yes, and yes. But people with schizoid personality disorder may work well in isolation and writer. So it does help to be working by yourself. I mean, these days I am recovering, so I like to go to a cafe every now and then. I'm a bit disappointed and cross with myself because I used to have to drive my son to class on a Thursday in town, and I would go and sit in Pret and work in Pret because lots of people go there to work, and I felt very comfortable there doing that. But since I don't have to drive him there anymore, I've had to buy him a bus pass. I kind of just don't go anywhere, which is really sad. And now I don't feel inclined to go anywhere, which is really sad. So you can get into the habit, but when the need to do stuff is not there anymore, you tend to just hermit again. And I would be okay with that, but both of these personality disorders, now I'm going to be brutally honest here, okay? I'm going to be brutally fucking honest. They leave you almost terminally lonely. There is something physical about the type of loneliness you experience when you are ill with these types of personality disorders. Not being able to reach out to people, not being able to interact, even when in the back of your head part of you is screaming for human contact, you don't have any. So you kind of end up sort of collapsing in on yourself, and it can go one way or another. When I was younger, when I was extremely ill and experiencing psychosis, it sort of connected up with my cyclothymia and the whole delusions of grandeur thing, and I ended up being like this super duper person that was just, you know, completely and utterly incredible, and no one else could be like that. And that's a self-protection. It's not a truth, it's a protection, it's a shield you wear to try and cope with your isolation. And nowadays the avoidant personality disorder is like off the scale. I've wanted to travel and do everything. I've always had this desire, this hunger to see the world and do everything, but I can't. And so I look at people who've even been to college, which I didn't manage to do, or have finished school, which I didn't manage to do, or have managed to get through school whilst being bullied and still somehow hang on to some semblance of self, which I didn't manage to do. And I feel utterly and hopelessly inadequate by comparison. And I just think, well, there's just no chance for me at all. You know, a lot of my thinking is, well, I'm just never going to be a human being. I'm never going to be one. So I may as well not bother. And that is being brutally fucking honest. You know, terminal loneliness, this absolute certainty that you are not meant to be part of the human race, that it's not for you. You look at it and you think, well, no, that can never be mine now. That can never be anything I can have. And it's not fucking self-pity, and I'm not expecting any pity. I'm just telling you what my reality is day to day. And that's still going on even during recovery, even more so during recovery, because you realise how much ground you've got to make up. And in a way you don't need to. And part of recovery is understanding that you don't need to, but then there's all the pent-up years of being held back and being restrained in the prison that is your mental disorders, and it's so hard not to listen to that. My personality disorders are not something that's going to affect you or infect you. They are my personal battle. They're going on within me, just like your personal struggles are going on within you. This is all going on within me, and your view of it is going to be me not being capable of reaching out to you, which you might see as me avoiding you or purposefully ignoring you, but it's not that. But yeah, life with personality disorders is super duper fun, and personally I hope to be rid of mine at some point because sick to death of them, and I think if they can appear then they can disappear as well. These are ones that I'm determined to get shot of because I don't want them anymore. Thank you for watching this Mental Health Monday on avoidant personality disorder and schizoid personality disorder. I hope that you'll turn up in 2 weeks' time, where I will be discussing that marvellous little friend, social anxiety. Oh yes, many things to say about that particular little friend, who is not friendly at all.